Hey, Matt.
Hey, Lance.
So what are we going to do today?
Today we're going to talk about this record, Horizons East by Thrice.
Sweet. So I just want to introduce my friend Matt. He's a drummer in a local band and he's gotten into vinyl and is a big fan of the band Thrice. So tell me a little bit about how you got into this band and, kind of what impact it had on you.
Sure. Thrice has been around for over 20 years. They started in 1999. First album, Identity Crisis, came out in 2000. And this is their 11th studio album. And over the entire time, they've had the same lineup.
Wow.
Their entire careers, which is phenomenal. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
To be around in the industry, playing gigs, touring for over 20 years with the same four guys. And you just don't see that very often. And it's because they have the staying power and they keep reinventing themselves. And there's so much progression from one album to the next album. When I first got into Thrice, it was their second and third album that were the ones that I was really listening to, which is Illusion of Safety and Artist in the Ambulance. And it was this, I was at a time, it was angsty, pop punk skater music. And that's where I was. And it was a lot of fun. And it was aggressive and angsty and loud and fast. And that was just the music that I was into. And that was around in 2005. They came out with another album, Vihishu. And that was the first time where we started really to see them kind of shift. Because their first album is almost just straight punk album.
Sure.
And then the next two are just more like melodic rock. And then in Vihishu in 2005, that's when they really started to lean more into the melodic stuff and a little bit more digital influences and synthesizers and stuff like that being incorporated in the rock music. And it was different. And everybody, some people didn't like it.
Right.
Some people were like, this is different. This isn't Thrice. Thrice is like really, really fast aggressive. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy that these guys can do this and do that. And over the years, it's just gotten more and more. Every album is just a little bit different. There's this, you could listen to one song off of this album and then a second song off of a different album. They almost don't even sound like they're by the same band.
Right, yeah.
And so I love the genre bending that they do. I love how it's every single time you pick up a Thrice album, they put out a new album.
You never know what you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's and so I've always liked that. And that kind of helps them, I think, also to feel with their creation and their art to be motivated to continue to make new stuff because they're not just making the same album over and over again. And I think that's one of the reasons they've been able to stay around as long as they have.
Speaking of their new stuff, tell us a little bit about this album.
So this is their newest album that just came out, and we're going to listen to a song off of this album called Scavengers, and it's my favorite song on this album.
Smother the light of Every tether is tangled and twisted. They slowly sever your heart from the whole. Iron shackles, hungry jackals with eyes like coal. Oh, underfoot as you steal past the gallows, brittle branches or pieces of gold. Feel your chest heave. Are you ready to come back home? Oh, I will find you in the black light.
So there's a lot going on there. Why is this one of the tracks that really speaks to you?
So this track, I'm a drummer, right? And so I think of Riley Breckenridge, who's the name of the drummer in Thrice, is one of my biggest influences. And a lot of the music that I make and the way that I play comes from his style, and that I've a huge influence on me. And this song has a lot of stuff, I think, that makes Thrice special and different than other rock artists, and things about this drummer in particular I like too. One of the things about this song that I think highlights really well about what Thrice does is that, with some more popular music, verse 2 and verse sounds just like verse 1, but just different lyrics, right? And the chorus that comes after the second verse is the same as the chorus that comes after the first verse. But that's not the way that Thrice works. The chord progression is the same. Maybe the melody of the vocals are the same, but it's different. So this song starts off with just guitar and drums, no bass, and the vocals. And when that chorus comes in and that bass comes in, it hits like a train, right? And then when the full band is in there in that chorus, the vocals get doubled, which is something that they do a lot as well. And I love when they double the vocals. You got the lower register, more melodic voice, and then on top of that, you have that more higher register, almost kind of screaming voice that he does. Yeah. And they're layered on top of each other, which I really like. And then in the second verse, it instead of having the guitar there, it's replaced with the bass. So coming out of that first chorus, we go into that verse chord progression, and it's the full band. And then when the lyrics come in, it's just drum and the bass. Whereas at the beginning of the song, it was just the drum and the guitar. Yeah. And that bass part is like a counter melody to what the guitar was doing and a counter rhythm to what the guitar was doing.
So you just get a different feel.
And it's different. It's the verse 2 does not, it's the same chord progression. It's the same vocal melody.
Does it kind of get you off track a little bit? You're just like, wait, what just happened?
Exactly. It almost doesn't even sound like it's another verse. It sounds like it's like a bridge or something like that because of how different it is from the first verse. And I love that. And their bass player it's not a very complicated bass line. It's really simple. It's just like 3 notes, and I really like that. Going into the chorus, I don't know if you noticed listening to it, but it's in 7. They have odd time in this song. Like if you listen to this song, you wouldn't have even known it was odd time, right? Unless I told you. But if you count it out, it's 7. It's sounds like it's straight, but and I feel like with a lot of bands that do odd time are more commonly in progressive rock, like Tool or whatever, right? And when you hear somebody do odd time in a progressive metal, you can tell it's different, right? But
there's something different there.
But not with these guys. With these guys, it seems seamless. It doesn't feel different for it to be an odd time, and I love that about Thrice and how because especially with the drummer thing. Playing an odd time and thinking about how you can groove in something that isn't just standard 4/4 really is appealing to me.
So this album, what's your take on it as a whole, and kind of like where it fits into their entire catalog? Because you were talking about how they kind of progressed in sound, and like where does this land, and what do you think about it? Yeah,
absolutely. So their earlier stuff is their more aggressive, almost more punk influence, and then they transitioned into more melodic-y rock and started incorporating different genres and aspects. So one of the things with this album is that this is produced by Thrice and fully tracked and recorded by Thrice. So this is an album that was completely done by themselves, and they really believe a lot in like authenticity For example, in the track Northern Lights,
Mhm.
it starts off with this piano part, and it sounds, you can hear somebody sitting down to the piano, playing a little bit, and then you hear the click, click, click from the drumsticks. It's authentic. They want it to sound like you're in the room with them, that you're just watching them track. Piano is like this acoustic thing. Dustin, their frontman, had said that he's had it for years and it's moved around a lot. And they've never retuned it, right?
Oh wow!
And so there's this authentic thing about Thrice, and there's not a whole lot of like sample replacement.
Sure.
And that the beauty is in the mistakes, like
Right.
that it isn't completely polished, and that's something.
So
that
this is more of a raw album.
It's a little bit more of a raw
album.
album.
Not overproduced and okay. So I have a number of friends, including you, have told me about Thrice and how great they are, and a little bit about that. And so I was like, I need to get one, and this came out, so I went and picked this record up, and I've been enjoying it. But if someone was looking to get into Thrice, like in their catalog, what would be a good place for them to start? Kind of the most approachable record that might get someone into it.
That's a great question. I think that the record that I always point people to is their Alchemy Index albums.
Yeah.
So what they did with the Alchemy Index, it's really a 4-part album that was released as 2 LPs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Water EP, a Fire EP, a Wind EP, and an Earth EP.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fire EP is more aggressive, louder rock music. The Earth EP is a little bit more folky and acoustic-y influence. The Water EP is a little bit more synths and keyboard sounds.
Kind of sound.
Yeah. And so I always point people towards the Alchemy Index as a great place to start, because I think it's a good like an appetizer plate of the different types of
styles.
Influence and styles that Thrice offers throughout their entire discography.
And those are 2 albums, so there's 2 of those EPs on one on each side or something.
So on digitally and on CD, they released 2 of them together. I think it was Fire and Water were released together, and then Earth and Air were released together as a separate album. But on vinyl, you can only get them as a 4 10-inch collection. And so it's 1 disc for each element. They actually just recently repressed it, but they can go pretty high.
Yeah, they're a little pricey and harder to find. Yeah,
right.
you showed me yours, and it's a pretty impressive
It is.
package.
They're gorgeous.
It's pretty cool. So I think they did a really cool job packaging this record. There's some unique things about it. Can you kind of show us and tell us a little bit about what they did?
Yeah, absolutely. So with, the pandemic going on and a lot less touring, a lot of bands were starting kind of this like fan clubby thing. The Thrice does this as well, which is called the Alliance. So this gives their fans access to exclusive content,
Mm-hmm.
including special pressings as well.
Cool.
When this record came out, there were 10 different variants of this album. Yeah. The one that I got is a variant that is the Cotton Candy. And so I'll show you what that looks like. So the inner sleeve here is pretty amazing. It's got the track list. And then inside, I'll show you here, we got this clear Cotton Candy pressing, which I think is gorgeous.
That is really sweet. Ooh.
And they had a bunch of different variants of different colors and swirls and everything like that, which is really cool. I wanted to show you one other thing that was really cool with this specific packaging and with this album. Put this sucker back in here real quick. Is it comes with these glasses. They're called chroma depth glasses. And so it's like, like 3D glasses with the blue and the red or whatever. So the way that these work is that things that are red wavelengths look closer, and things that are more bluish wavelengths look further away.
So the same idea.
So the similar idea, but it actually refracts the different wavelengths differently. So it came with these glasses that you can use to view the album art from the front, and it makes it almost look like 3-dimensional.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is really, really cool. And not only did they do the chroma depth with their album cover, but they also have special chroma depth music videos that are out on YouTube that you could watch, where you could watch with your glasses on, and it's like a 3D experience watching the music videos with the glasses that were included with the album.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming out and talking with us.
Absolutely.
This was a blast. So tell us a little bit about your band, where you might show up next, and where people can find out about you.
Absolutely. Thanks again for the opportunity. This has been a lot of fun. I love Thrice. I love talking about Thrice, so this has been a blast. I play drums in a local band called The Seen and Unseen. You can see our music on various streaming services. And we also stream our weekly rehearsals.
I didn't
absolutely.
know that.
So we stream our rehearsals on Twitch. You can see us at twitch.tv/The Seen and Unseen. And we usually stream our rehearsals on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Mountain.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks again for coming.
Absolutely. Hopefully you guys will help me back to talk about something else some other time.